Hey everyone! The previous schedule really wasn't working for me, so here we have a revised schedule. You can see me live on Kick at these times. Thanks for stopping in. Happy to see you. I wanted to focus on Nuxanor. I have not reacted to a video of his on stream since the very first, so my very first time. So let's do it again. And we have here Keir Starmer, portrayed here on the right side of the thumbnail here. He is the current Prime Minister of Britain, and he's a wanker. as the Brits living there will actually say out loud.
Nice to meet you. It's an interview. Do I get the quote? I'm from New York.
I'm not sure what this video is about, so let's get into it and see what happens.
Absolute nightmare scenario. The thing that I was told never happens just happened. Apparently,
hold up, let me move my avatar out the way, and we go.
When you import people that are part of groups, they commit acts of terror. Over 2,000 members of the Jewish community held a Hanukkah celebration and...
Hold up, you hear that? Let's play that back again.
Just happened. Apparently, when you import people that are part of groups, they commit acts of...
You have to mute the word. Well, I guess I have to mute it on my video too for YouTube. You have to mute the word or terrorism from the video early on or even later on. Like there's some people play around with the algorithm. Like if you say these words earlier on in the video, it'll get flagged immediately, and the video will become demonetized, meaning you cannot earn money from it, which of course is ridiculous, and creators don't want to have to deal with that. They would like to get paid for their work, of course, and I'm among the, obviously I'm the same way. So I will have to delete that in the video. But that's the thing about joining me here on Kick. You can see me unfiltered live and see how I act, see how I am. I'm a pretty laid back individual, pretty easygoing, and I just take it very seriously though the way things are going in society, and I would like to add my voice to the choir in terms of hopefully building an audience to open some eyes and, hey, things are going on that shouldn't be going on, that wouldn't be going on if we didn't have nefarious individuals trying to control the massive population of the planet. I feel like things are intentionally mismanaged to control, and I think that if enough people become aware of the information, we can start to take back sanity and maybe move society into a better direction. And I go into some detail about this in the reaction of the Zeitgeist documentary that I did in terms of like becoming a spacefaring society and building starships and doing stuff like that. We would need to, as a whole, as a species, focus on the one goal of going in that direction. And it's just simply not possible for us to do that now because of the way things are, and it's stressful. It's unnecessary. It's a unforced error, I believe the term is. And if we can overcome it, we might be able to do just that, become a spacefaring civilization, bring about the Star Trek universe that brings about abundance. Like freaking, who doesn't like the idea of a what do you call it? That machine that they use to like generate food out of nowhere just because of, you get what I'm saying? Like you don't even have to like grow anything. The somehow the machine, the computers, they just puts matter together in the shape and form and taste of food, and you can eat it. That's true abundance right there. And that's the kind of life we should be living as humanity, that we don't have to worry about finances or monetary issues. It's just as long as people decide to like come together and work towards a goal, abundance is like an after effect of that. Anyway, that being said, that was a huge tangent, but like I brought that up because censorship, it sucks, and having to not say things or mute words anywhere in your video because some douchebag thinks it's problematic somewhere. Anyway, it's retarded. I hate censorship. I deeply hate it. And so that being said, let's move on.
Over 2,000 members of the Jewish community held a Hanukkah celebration in Bondi Beach, Australia. 2 men armed with guns opened fire on the crowd in a mass shooting in a giant terrorist attack.
So Bondi Beach, Australia.
This is just a video of people fleeing the beach. The beach was full of thousands of people, obviously not just Jewish people, although there was a large Jewish gathering for the first night of Hanukkah, and there was a gigantic attack. This took place in Australia, part of Western civilization that is killing themselves with suicidal empathy, importing freaks and retards from around the world. And as you can see, this is everyone running out of the beach after shots were fired. Now, the horrible news is, well, the good news is they caught the guys. They arrested them. As you can see, they actually caught these two terrorists. They pinned them down. I'm pretty sure one of the two terrorists was killed on the spot. And the police are, of course, defending the terrorists, obviously. The poor terrorists, they probably just have a mental illness, guys. They probably just have a mental illness. So, anyway.
He has a saying that I picked up on Nuxanor here. Mercy to the cruel is cruelty to the innocent. And we should not show mercy to the cruel. If you've proven that you're going to break the law to murder someone, over what? Over your religious beliefs? Over anything, really. If you're gonna take someone else's life for any reason, you do not have a place in our society. Let's be real here. It's not that difficult to not kill someone. And the idea of having empathy for someone. Oh, they're from a poor background, and they didn't know any better, and blah blah. So what? No. We have systems in place to keep them off the streets so that we can be safe. We don't have to live like this. Anyway, moving on.
To make things infinitely worse, well, this is unbelievable. This situation, it's rattling, it's shaking. You're not ready for what you're about to see. You are not ready for what you're about to see. It's a nightmare. We literally invited these freaks onto our ghosts. Like, dude, we did everything we could to propel the invaders and the barbarians from our shores for the last 1,400 years, and here we are with suicidal empathy, opening the gates, literally welcoming the orcs into the Shire. Obviously, I don't want to cast aspersions.
I really like that reference. I really like the orcs into the Shire, the Lord of the Rings references. Very good. And I think it fits. I think it's a very fitting reference to our analogy for what's happening here. If people don't belong, I'll just leave it there. Moving on.
I don't want to jump to conclusions. We don't know who the terrorist actually was. Sure, we don't know. We do now, but we don't know who it was. Let's not jump to conclusions, guys. The moment this took place, Australian Twitter was blowing up saying, yo, let's not jump to conclusions that it was an Islamic terrorist attack. Thanks, Australian Twitter, you fucking retards. Anyway, this is a video of a brave Australian legend, a hero, literally tackling and wrestling the gun out of one of the terrorists' hands. So, sirens in the distance, police and ambulances are coming. As you can see over here, this is the terrorist, and this is the brave Australian hero who just grabbed the guy and was able to grapple the gun away from him and subdue him. Absolute legend. This dude's the main character of this situation. Actual hero. And of course the terrorists.
Actually, I was perusing X a little while ago. I happened to see that this man who just disarmed this guy is actually Muslim as well. I'm not sure how true that is, but if so, hey, you know what? That's an exception to the rule. And there's always exceptions to the rule, and that's well and good. But exceptions do not disprove the rule. So good on this guy for going against the radical side of his religion. I appreciate that. But again, exceptions do not disprove the rule.
Freaking out. And he shoots him, as he should. This person is absolutely, this is self-defense to the extreme. You don't know if this guy has another gun on him. You take him down. No doubt. Bro. Crazy. Absolute insanity. Obviously, he doesn't want to get arrested for Islamophobia, so I assume he doesn't actually want to actually shoot to kill. Because, I mean, listen, this is the most cucked nation of all time. So, if you actually look at the unfortunate...
Islamophobia phobia in general is something I would like to cover, like one of the words that are losing their meanings. If Islamic terror attacks are happening throughout the Western world, is being afraid of Muslims or Islam really a phobia, a rational fear? No, I don't think so.
Unfortunate, horrible situation. At least 10 were killed in the very first moments of this attack, with dozens shot. dozens shot, 10 dead, and this is why you fucking need guns. This wouldn't have happened in America. Or in Israel, for the record.
Correct.
2 guys with rifles, they would have been taken down immediately. Alright? There is no question in my mind that this shit only was allowed to happen because in the hyper-cucked situation of Australia, where guns are actually the bad guys, all you do is limit and cuck your entire populace to get absolutely terrorized by a couple of retards. If this would have happened in America, he might have gotten like 5 shots off before getting taken down. Or Israel. Because the reality is, America has the best policies in regards to the Second Amendment, and Israel has an armed population because of the amount of terrorist attacks they have to go through because, you know, they're used to this. They're surrounded by radical Muslims. See, these guys are getting used to it now because they're importing radical Muslims. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Muslims? We're not allowed to do that. Breaking news from pamphlets. Bondi shooter was a far-right extremist who targeted a Hanukkah gathering. Wow! A far-right extremist? He was probably a Nazi. Maybe he was a Groiper, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Groiper is not that well known of a term. It essentially just means a Nick Fuentes fan. Nick Fuentes is a far right figure. I'm not gonna go too much into him right now. I assume people who watch Nuxanor are very well versed in knowledge of Nick Fuentes, but he's not the subject of today's video, so we'll move on.
Far-right extremist. Let's look at their bio. Oh, Palestine flag. Oh, that's interesting. Palestine flag in bio. Far-right extremist. And this is what the news does all the time. They'll immediately say far-right extremist, when in the reality, it is not a far-right extremist. Oh my God, these pictures are crazy. So this is a tzitzit. It's a Jewish cloth. It's a clothing that Jews wear.
How do you pronounce that word?
And it's covered in blood. It's unbelievable. It's crazy, bro. What are we talking about? Are we surprised that this is even happening? I personally am not. When you have an entire country that's bending over backwards to cuck itself for the sake of not wanting Islamophobia, the reality is it's absolutely inevitable. Just like October 7th, where radical Islamists murdered and butchered Jews because they were Jews. Here we are in December in 2025, where you have radical Islamists butchering and murdering Jews because they're Jews. It's the same idea, honestly, and it's because radical Islam is a fucking threat on the world, especially against Jews. But they're not stopping there. They've already pronounced their hatred for Christians and Hindus.
It's wild to me the things I've seen recently, perusing X as part of me taking this as my job. I spent a lot of time yesterday night and this morning going through postings and kind of like responding and reacting, not reacting, but responding to people who are saying, oh, guns are the problem, guns. Like, no, guns are things. People use guns. Like, it's not like the logic is not that difficult to understand, yet people seem to not be logical. And gun control is something that we should not have. Gun control only allows for the criminals to have guns because they don't care about the law. What difference does it make for someone who doesn't follow the law if there's gun control in the area? That just neuters the population. Oh, now you can't defend yourself. Now you have to call the cops. And of course, it's not always the cops' fault. They just there's other calls going on. You can't get there on time. Before you it makes more sense to take responsibility for your own defense. And you best believe, once I can afford to, I will be buying a gun of my own. Anyway, moving on.
So don't worry, guys. But obviously Jews are the first target. That's what it says in the Quran. First go for the Saturday people, then go for the Sunday people. So anyway, doctors and engineers. This is clearly a doctor and engineer. We don't know. We don't know if he's a Muslim yet, guys. He looks a little brownish, but that could be probably the film. We still don't know, guys. He might still be far right. All right, so one of the Bondi Beach Australian terrorists who killed 10 people was identified as Naveed Akram.
Sounds like a very white Christian name, am I right, people?
Mass immigration, ladies and gentlemen. The Australian government imported terrorists, and they allowed their citizens to get slaughtered. This is another one of my dear students, Naveed Akram, passing the IQRA books and Tajweed this morning. Wow, that's so nice. Look at him with this certificate of dumb fuckery. Let's not jump to conclusions, and it's Islam. And this is his driver's license, as you can see. This guy over here, Brown Road, a nice South Wales Australian that was imported and clearly shares Western values. Naveed Akram, terrorist. Very cool, huh? Very awesome. Isn't that nice? Isn't that lovely, guys? Isn't that great? Little 24-year-old fuck that goes out there. So immediately, Channel 9 in the United Kingdom and the fucking wealth. All right, the retards pop out. It's like, oh my god, guys, let's get a Muslim. Let's get a Muslim on camera immediately. Let's get them to report on the Islamic terrorist attack. Then you have foreign bots like Adam saying, you don't know if they were Muslim. Yeah, we do.
Oops.
No, this guy claims to be like Christian America first, right? He's like an America first guy, even though he's like a foreign Pakistani bot. You don't know if they were Muslim. Even if they were, it doesn't make all Muslims guilty. No one's saying that. There was no Islamic terror attacks, the murder of the... Get the fuck out of here. Bro.
Something else I saw on X recently, the don't blame the entire religion, blame the person. Like, okay, sure, but it's one thing. It's okay to notice patterns, right? If the majority of attacks that are coming from a certain group of people are from that group of people, yeah, okay, they're all from that group of people. Like, okay, so how do I say this so that it's understood? Not all Muslims. It shouldn't have to be said. Obviously, not all Muslims are terrorists. However, enough of them are that it causes a problem. I don't want to misspeak, but essentially, we need to be very careful about who we let in. And it's not going to be covered here in this particular video, but of the many Muslim majority countries, there's a lot of inbreeding that goes on. There's a lot of low IQ individuals as a result of the inbreeding that happens because of that, and as a result of low IQ individuals, existing, there's a lot of fighting going on because you're not that intelligent, so therefore you can't really put into words or convey emotions or communicate in an effective manner that prevents fighting from occurring. So when you import people of that caliber into the Western world, naturally you're going to have problems. So we need to be very careful of who we let into our country. You don't just leave your door unlocked when you walk out your house. You don't just invite anybody into your house just because they asked to get to come in. If you do, you're probably a retard. So don't do that. Probably a low IQ individual. Just saying.
You don't see Christians committing terrorist attacks for the most part. You don't see Jews committing terrorist attacks. You don't see Hindus committing terrorist attacks. All right, let's be honest. Let's be honest for a second. But there have been over 48,000 Islamic terrorist attacks since 9/11. At some point, it is the religion and it is the ideology when taken to an extreme. All right, let's just absolutely shut the fuck up for a second and stop ignoring this. It's like everyone wants to be inclusive and wholesome and not racist and not Islamophobic. And you're putting your fingers in your ears, la 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 la, to prove how not Islamophobic I am. I'm going to import more Muslims into the country. Well, no one's surprised here. Now, the attack actually is even worse than you thought. So aside from two radical Muslims popping out of nowhere to murder a bunch of Jews on Hanukkah, as well as other random Australians that were there as well, but targeting Jews, let's see if it was just that. Let's see if there was maybe another layer to this.
It's way too early to give any description of the firearms other than to say that they were long arms. Where they came from, their background, how they came to be in possession of the offenders, it's too early to say. As part of the investigation and shortly after the shooting occurred, police located a vehicle in Campbell Parade at Bondi, which we believe has several improvised explosive devices. We have our rescue bomb disposal unit there at the moment.
See, I was being skeptical. I was like, really? Is this an Islamic terrorist attack without explosives? But don't worry, guys. The good news is they found cars rigged with explosives. That's nice.
I'm sorry. It's not funny, but it's the pattern again. What's a Muslim terrorist attack without explosions, right? Like it's almost constant. Like it's either that or just in places where you can't, like, it's not as easily available to get explosives, it's knife attacks like in Britain. It's just it's consistent. It's nonstop. It's convert or die, or you like not even convert in some cases. Just like, oh, this what, I don't know, kafar. I forget the Muslim terminology. The not apostate, because that would imply that you were a part of the religion and now are no longer a part of the religion. But like someone who doesn't have the same beliefs. Oh, it's basically okay for me to do whatever the hell I want to them because they're not Muslim, and so they do. And we should, again, we do not need to live like this. We do not need to have these people live among us. It's suicidal empathy to allow these people to exist within our borders, within our borders. Moving on.
Fantastic, right, guys? Isn't this nice? Isn't this great? For the record, pay attention. This is just one of many. This is going to be happening everywhere. This is just one that got through past all the Secret Service guys. It got through. We failed. And this is just going to happen more and more and more as we continue to import more and more and more. Keir Starmer, retard extraordinaire, deeply distressing news from Australia. The United Kingdom sends our thoughts and condolences to everyone affected by this appalling attack in Bondi Beach. Are being kept updated in the developing situation. You absolute fucking retard. You, in England, this is the Prime Minister of England, are importing these freaks. You are doing the same thing as they are. And there are terrorist attacks happening in England too. Bro, they literally had globalized the Intifada on their hotels that they are funding. You don't understand. These retards are funding these people that are coming from war-torn shitholes, giving them places to live in Western countries as they chant for the murder and violent revolution against your culture.
I just want to add to that. Imagine being a United Kingdom resident at this time in history, or the present day. You're a taxpayer, right? These people are coming in illegally on boats. They're just washing up on shore, walking into the UK, and oh, guess what? Welcome. Guess what you get for simply invading our space here, our territory. You get to stay up in a hotel where we feed you and all this stuff on taxpayer dime. You're welcome. Oh, you want to commit a terror attack? Oh, it must not be you. No. We have to make excuses for you. We have to. It's crazy, man. It's wild. I can't this is what I mean. It seems to be like intentional mismanagement. What's his name? Tommy Robinson. I've been aware of this guy. I can bring him up later. I guess I can edit this in somehow. Tommy Robinson has been around for a very long time. I became aware of him, I think, back in 2017, 18. He's been around for a while, and he's been trying to sound the alarm. I forget why he was so motivated and fired up to do this, but I think it had something to do with one of his children who were attacked by Muslim immigrants back then. He became aware of the grooming gangs, essentially. Grooming gangs, Muslims who got together and would kidnap and rape girls and make them essentially do whatever the heck they wanted. Yeah, and this grooming gang issue has been a thing in the UK for like the last couple decades, as far as I'm aware, and it's only just now coming out, like truly, thanks to Elon Musk and X, which again, like he really did change the course of history by buying this platform and making it a free speech platform. And like I say, to bring it back to where I started from, to being a taxpayer in this country, you're funding your own destruction because the government is intentionally allowing this to happen, which is absolutely disgusting. You think democracy is supposed to be, by the people, for the people,
but the people are retarded.
but it's not. At least not here in the UK, by the looks of it. Because if it was, would this kind of thing be happening? No, I don't think it would.
Deeply depressing news from Australia. Based Israeli guy, I don't know, government official, I don't know who this guy is, Minister of Foreign Affairs, distinguished Prime Minister, the terror attack targeted Jews. Yeah, no one seems to notice that because obviously these European countries that essentially let the globalize the Intifada shit, import infinite Palestine protesters, let them do whatever they want, arrest anyone that's Islamophobic. Like, all these guys know that the blood of Jews were inevitably going to be on their hands. But hey, they decided to ignore it. I feel like that's a better strategy. So they did kill one of the Bondi shooters. This has been confirmed by the police. Whatever, I can't actually show this, but as you can see, this guy over here is one of the shooters. I don't want to actually show the clip of him dying, obviously, because that would be against YouTube's terms of service. But that's where we're at. 10 dead at Hanukkah event. Prime Minister refuses to say the word Jewish. No one's surprised, because you failed Jews. I mean, you did. And you're going to be failing a lot more people over the years.
We've had a statement from New South Wales Police saying their operation is ongoing after a public place shooting by 2 men at Bondi Beach earlier today. 10 people have been confirmed dead, including a man believed to be one of the shooters. They say the second alleged shooter is in a critical condition. At this time, a further 11 people are reported to be injured, 2 of which are police officers. And I should say that earlier in the day on social media, New South Wales Police urged people not to speculate as to what happened. They said it was a live situation.
Every time. Don't speculate, guys.
Their investigation is ongoing.
Let's not jump to any conclusions. It was Muslims.
And as you can see, there is still plenty of emergency.
But of course, if there's evidence it was a white person, oh, let's quickly jump to conclusions. Oh, look, it's definitely white. Oh, look, definitely white. And you should see, like, I mean, it might not. I don't think it's gonna be covered in this video, but there have been plenty of records that have been falsified deliberately, that are supposed to be official records. That you see, like, oh, it's it's clearly a black person who caused the criminal activity, and they register him as a white person. It's ridiculous. It throws off the statistics because they're being recorded incorrectly on purpose, and it's terrible.
Services at the scene.
All right, let's not jump to any conclusions, guys. It was migrants. Every time, all the times. Look, guys, let's not do it. He's scared to say anti-Semitic terror because it triggers the ideology debate that he doesn't want any part of. That's right. It's just stressing. It's completely random. 10 dead, including Rabbi Eli Schlanger, head of the local Chabad delegation. What a nightmare. I'm pretty sure a 10-year-old kid was murdered, too. Absolute nightmare. What a nightmare, dude. Like, actually unbelievable. Witnesses report the attackers shouting Allahu Akbar as people ran for their lives. Dude, this is fucking insane. And this is happening on Western civilization because we brought the barbarians to our gates. And are we really surprised that the guys that are chanting that they want the downfall of Western civilization, starting with Jews and then moving down their religions list, are we really surprised that this is happening? I'm not, unfortunately. I called this, unfortunately, months ago when I was making videos on the importation of retards and freaks. Don't be Islamophobic, guys. This is just two mostly peaceful protests.
Tommy Robinson. Yeah, he's still doing his thing.
Don't be Islamophobic, guys. This is just two mostly peaceful protesters. All right, let's not be Islamophobic, as they stand on a bridge and just shoot random people on a beach. This is fucking barbaric to the extreme. Can you imagine if this was a straight white guy? Could you even imagine? They just walk out and they just start killing people. Absolute nightmare. What a nightmare. This is happening, and this is happening in Australia. This isn't in the Middle East. This is in Australia. Holy shit. So anyway, watch this. They immediately cut her off the moment she makes it sound like it's some sort of ideological issue.
The horror of anti-Semitism has been unleashed in Australia, and it hasn't been properly dealt with by authorities. And this is where we are now.
You know, I don't.
And then liberal Karen pops out of the woodwork.
I don't want to blame anyone tonight, other
That's
than.
right. Let's not blame anyone tonight.
The people that perpetrated this horror on our community.
True. We can't look at this as like some sort of a systemic issue. Like the fact that there were 48,000 Islamic terrorist attacks. Really, they're all individual cases. We shouldn't like look at this as like some sort of broad problem. Thanks, white liberal Karen. Thank you for collectively committing cultural suicide. Very cool.
Here, this is what I'll say. Maybe the Crusades weren't such a bad thing. Anyway, moving on.
Else is to blame.
No one else is to blame. Absolutely. Not the politicians that are bringing these people in. Not the people voting for the politicians that are bringing these people in. Not the people that are running defense for these guys. Not the people that are chanting globalize the intifada. Not the people that are out there trying to destroy the West. No. It's just purely two mentally ill children.
And I don't want to get into that tonight because we have a community that is in shock, that is grieving.
Right, there's shock, so we can't talk about anything.
I'm in shock.
Right, yeah, obviously. Yeah, of course, obviously. There's shock, so we can't speculate as to the motives of the guy that yelled Allahu Akbar and then shot a bunch of Jews on Hanukkah. Yeah, we can't like try to think for what the motive is. We can't think about that. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Thank you for the cultural suicide, liberal Karens. You are a threat to our nations. If only there were signs. This is in Australia. If only there were signs. If only there were signs that there was a growing issue in the country. So this is a statement from the Prime Minister of Australia. The scenes in Bondi are shocking and distressing. Police and emergency responders are on the ground working to save lives. Our thoughts are with every person affected. I've spoken with the AFP Commissioner, with the NSW Premier. We are working with the NSW Police, and we will provide further updates as more information is confirmed. I urge people in the vicinity to follow instructions from the NSW Police. I don't know if you've noticed, but this guy does not mention Islam, immigration, radicals, terrorists, terror attack, anti-Semitism, Jews, Christians, Western civilization. He doesn't mention any of the actual keywords that's going on. He's just like, they were just shocking and distressing scenes, mate. That's pretty horrible.
And the thing is, there's a reason for that, right? I don't know how many of you are aware of search engine optimization, or SEO. The more something becomes mentioned on the internet, the easier that it is to search up. So if you were deliberately avoid saying certain things, it becomes more difficult to find information on said thing. I can't tell if that was intentional or not, but if so, that's diabolical.
Of course, radical Muslims based in Saudi Arabia that, LARP as Americans pop out. The Bondi tragedy was a Mossad false flag. Thank you, Muslims. So obviously, the radical Muslims on social media are all immediately saying no. These two radical Muslim guys in Australia were clearly brainwashed by the Mossad to kill Jews, to trick people. Bro, are we fucking retarded? Like, are we insane? Words you will not find in the Prime Minister's statement. Jews, anti-Semitism, terror. Yeah, we noticed. We noticed. So this is Sky News interviewing the Israeli Foreign Deputy Minister in the attack. It's pretty insane. It is pretty insane. It's wild watching this. Like, these countries, they're just actually killing themselves with their fucking suicidal empathy, bringing the barbarians at the gates.
You've just said, Ms. Haskell, that governments around the world, including the Australian government, could have done more to tackle anti-Semitism. What would you have expected?
See, by the way, this is real anti-Semitism, for the record. Not like the cringe shit that people scream about. Oh my God, he made a joke about Jews.
Yeah, the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, they are a joke of an organization. They will go to places like Steam, which is a gaming website, and they will complain that there's too many people commenting with a frog meme that's saying that has something to do with the Jews and saying that's somehow anti-Semitic. So the ADL is a freaking joke, and they will not tackle things like this, which is obviously more anti-Semitic than a frog, which has absolutely nothing to do, actually, in fact, with Judaism or being anti-Semitic. So yeah.
He made a joke about the Holocaust. No. This is not jokes. This is the real shit. And it's always from the left right now. Obviously, it was from the right. And I'm sure it'll be from the right at some point. But it's always from the left. It's always from the left right now. That's what I've been saying the entire time. It's the leftoid retards that are importing the people that are trying to kill Jews. All right? So when the leftoids, they'll scream and they'll shriek. They'll call everyone a Nazi. But they will literally import these guys.
Them to do to prevent or anticipate this kind of attack?
Well, fight racism, fight violence against...
Fight racism! We should import more Muslims. We should import more people from impoverished parts of the world to fight racism. What do you mean? Their culture's inferior. Their culture's not inferior at all. Their culture's beautiful. They make our food taste better.
Against Jewish community, fight racism in workplaces.
Bro,
as strong as possible.
That's not it. You need to fucking close the borders, vet people, and deport every illegal, and also start denaturalizing the retards that you think might be terrorists.
You see those hate march in the streets, whether it's London or
she's right about this.
Sydney. And in the Sydney Opera House, they chanted, "Gas the Jews, gas the Jews."
True. Are we surprised? Again, are we surprised? They say what they're planning and then they do it. And it's like, what? Nah, dude, that's why I'm like so...
Anyway, for those of you who are unaware, Nuxanor here is Jewish. His grandparents were... They dealt with the Holocaust. His grandfather is still alive. And he's, told him stories about what happened to him while he was dealing with the Holocaust. These kinds of things, these kinds of attacks, hit Nuxanor a lot closer to home than most anybody else. So Anyway, anyone who doesn't know him, I figure that lore is a little bit important here.
I'm so over this. Like, it's so performative. This is all. It's all performance.
Not even a single arrest. Not even a single person who had to answer for that. But
they'll arrest people for being Islamophobic, but they won't arrest people for literally inciting violence. Nice.
try to cover that. When you hear them chanting to globalize the Intifada, what do you think that means?
She's right.
Globalizing the Intifada mean exactly that. To go
they just globalized the Intifada.
On massacres, shooting people in the streets to violently attack them.
Absolutely.
This is what it means.
True.
Islam claims to be a religion of peace, but history and present-day atrocities show clearly that Islam is a religion of conquest. They will invade, they will outbreed the native population, and they will spread their religion until the entire world becomes a Muslim majority religion for the world. And if this is how they do things, we cannot allow them to do this, because this obviously does not mesh with civilization, with civilized society as we have created it. And I don't see anything wrong with saying no, we will not allow this to happen. I don't believe that's Islamophobic. I believe that's rational, highly rational, and I think we should be very careful again who we allow into our country. And if they're a net detriment to our society, they're not welcome. They're not welcome, and it's as simple as that.
And if you let that continue and run in your street, waving flags of terrorists, pictures of people who murdered innocent children, if you don't fight it in your...
And we are inviting the barbarians to our countries. We absolutely are. And as much as obvious as it is, it's really not just about Jews. I mean, this one obviously was, but it really obviously is an issue. Like, this is a colonial religion. Radical Islam wants to conquer the world. They say it themselves. That's why it's so funny, because they say it themselves, and then we just ignore that part, and then we just import them. And that's what Europe is doing. That's what Canada is doing. That's what Australia is doing.
Silence, you actually support that. You justify that.
Yeah, so that's why when you have foreigners leading terror chants in our countries, we should deport the fuck out of them immediately. I don't know. I'm so tired of all this. It's like, oh, he has a student visa, so we shouldn't deport him for supporting terrorists. Are you fucking retarded? Get them out! Get them out! Western civilization is a miracle. It's incredible. It's based on biblical values, and our culture is truly unbelievable. It's remarkable in every way. And here we are importing people to destroy us.
And to globalize the Intifada means exactly that.
Of course.
A terrorist attack on a beach in Australia where Australian civilians are being murdered and killed.
True.
This is what it means. So when you hear that, start acting, enforcing, persecuting, punishing, so that people understand.
No, we can't deport people. No, it's racist. What, am I just going to target you based on your radical views? Yes, actually. We don't want them here.
Unacceptable. No racism, no violence will be accepted, not in Australia and not in the UK either.
Yeah, well, it is, though, actually. That's the funny part. It is. It's kind of acceptable. So, this is the statement from the Prime Minister of Australia. My statement formally recognizing the state of Palestine. Hope it was worth it, Anthony. Now, the funny thing is, a couple of months ago, in September, all the Libcuck nations, like Canada, Australia, France, and England, they all came together. They put their incredibly tiny dicks on the table, and they were like, guys, we're going to unite and recognize the state of Palestine. It's been too long. This country that never existed deserves to have a name and have a place. We must reward the brave terrorists of Hamas for committing terrorist attacks and support them. Now, we all know the reason why they're doing this. Now, let me make this clear. They're not beacons of morality. None of these people...
Actually, in point of fact, apparently, I've learned recently that the P sound isn't actually a sound that people that speak whatever language. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what it's called. The peace sound isn't there. So the Muslim people did not name their own country Palestine because they can't say Palestine. So anyway, whatever. Just a little interesting fact about it. I figured I'd just point out and bring it right here.
Now, we all know the reason why they're doing this. Now, let me make this clear. They're not beacons of morality. None of these people give a fuck about any of this. You want to hear my incredible hot take? It's gonna blow your mind. You're gonna actually be shocked when you hear. It's because they imported a gigantic voter block of radical Muslims. So they're appeasing the fucking retards that they're importing to vote them into power forever. It's so obvious when you think about it. 10% of England is Muslim right now. So obviously Keir Starmer is going to want to say that, we should recognize this state of Palestine. Duh. You're going to get 10% of the votes. Just like that. All you got to do is reward terrorism and boom. And they rewarded terrorism because they committed a terrorist attack. That's the craziest part. You know why they decided to recognize the state of Palestine? Because Hamas launched a terrorist attack and killed a lot of people. That's it. They just go out there, they reward the terrorists, and boom. Hope it was worth it, Anthony. To get those liberal votes, get those lib-cuck votes. Hell yeah, dude. You did a good job, bro. Shout out to these guys. This is one of the Bondi Beach terrorists. Now imagine when they become 10% of the population. Actually, no need to imagine. Just look at Britain. Are you aware that in England there's a Islamic terrorist attack basically every week right now? Whether it's just a stabbing or a beating or whatever, or a rape. It happens every week, easily. So that's where we're at. Yep, this is just a guy. This is just another one of those guys. Let's not imagine. Australia needs to remigrate those who can't assimilate and help identify them. But they call this racist. You're not allowed to do that. That's obviously racism. Now, the reason why I'm bringing all this up is not only in a vacuum, but also Islamic terrorist attack on German Christian market in Bavaria was foiled. 3 Moroccans, 1 Egyptian, 1 Syrian arrested. This just happened today. Now, for those of you that are unaware, I want to make this clear. When I cover this Australian story, this is one that got through. This is unfortunately one that got through. The tragedy is there are so many more. Thank God a lot of them are stopped. But we shouldn't need to live like this, man. Terrorist attack against Christians? Are we surprised? Are we surprised that radical Muslims might commit a terrorist attack against Christians? Really? When they think that Christianity is a pagan religion where you're worshiping a false god and therefore punishable by death? According to the Quran, Jews aren't punishable by death, but Christians are. So are we really surprised that this is going to happen? They just understand that Christians are a world superpower, so realistically they don't want to mess with them on a global scale. But yeah, Islamic terrorist attack on Christian market thwarted. The 5 men arrested because they were trying to pull that shit off. So Piers Morgan, I wanted to bring this guy up because this dude, he's a very famous British guy. He was on CNN and he was on all the British shows. He considers himself anti-woke. He calls himself a centrist, when in reality he's a libtard. His wife cheats on him, classic libtard. And basically he's screaming, "What the hell is going on Bondi Beach? Some horrific videos coming out of what seems to be a mass shooting. 2 men firing indiscriminately onto a packed beach." Are you surprised, Piers? Are you surprised? I'm not. I'll tell you for the record, I'm not. Piers Morgan knew about this. Maybe not this specific attack, obviously. But Piers Morgan is the guy that literally said, "Hey guys, we should import everyone." Tommy Robinson, he's this British activist that wants to get rid of a lot of especially the illegal invaders and to close the borders. He calls him a far-right Nazi because of this. Okay, so Piers Morgan, a guy that's pro-immigration, because mass immigration made England a better place. Think of all the good food. There's delicious curry right now. Are you really surprised? And then you dare feign, this is the most ignorant shit I've ever seen. What the hell is happening? Really? What the hell is happening? Are you that surprised when you import the third world, when you import radical retards and quote-unquote refugees, that they might just be sleeper agents waiting to fucking kill you? So this was Piers Morgan on his own show, talking to, I'm pretty sure this is a Australian guy. Yeah, this is an Australian government official named Nasser Machni. He is a Muslim, obviously.
Yeah.
Immigrant. He has a Palestine flag.
Not the most indigenous Australian name, obviously.
On his fucking lapel. So that's how you know he's based. So Piers Morgan interviewed him on his own show, and this is what he said.
What? Was it an act of terrorism?
He's talking about October 7th. The October 7th massacre where, many thousands of Hamas terrorists and other groups got together to massacre, rape, murder, and kidnap Jews, and killed 1,300 and kidnapped another 300. He's asking about that. Completely and utterly unprovoked atrocity. So he asked him. Probably the biggest Islamic terrorist attack since 9/11 worldwide. And let's see what he had to say.
No, I'm not going to call it an act of terrorism.
He's not going to call it an act of terrorism.
Why would you?
This guy is a member of the Australian government.
God forbid you call out your own people.
I'm going to call it part of the Palestinian resistance.
Right. Palestinian resistance is raping and... Here's the funny part. And I mean funny...
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Palestinian resistance in... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Because it's not... They were talking about the October 7th thing, not Australia, that happened earlier.
Most ironic term. How'd that work out for the Palestinians? Well, I'll tell you. It worked out with 60,000+ Palestinians dead in Gaza, and Gaza looking like an absolute nightmare. That's what happened. They caused the flattening of Gaza and the death of 60,000 Gazans. So I would say that it was a pretty bad act of resistance. It also caused the downfall of Hezbollah in Lebanon and the destruction of Iran's missile program, and also the obliteration of the entire Houthi leadership in Yemen. So I would argue that this was one of the worst acts of resistance I've ever seen.
So therefore legitimate.
Well, Palestinians have a right to fight for freedom.
Right, so why are you being...
They were free. They also sent 30,000 missiles into Israeli cities since 2006, and they've elected a terrorist government in Gaza. Like, we've got to stop playing around with these fucking games. Like, these people started every single war. All the wars that involved Palestinians were started by Palestinians. You have to understand this. For all of Israel's history, they have never started...
Also, I don't know if he's going to mention that, but I want to point out that Palestinians have been allowed in other countries before, like Egypt. And basically every other country that the Palestinians have been allowed to migrate into, they've caused problems there. So now, anytime they feign that they need to, go to a different country because they need to run from the turmoil that they cause themselves in their country, they're not allowed in neighboring countries because the neighboring countries are already aware that if they allow them in there, they will cause problems. And yeah. And that's what it's called. When you notice patterns, you stop things from happening before they happen.
A war with Palestinians or Palestine. And no one wants to actually engage with the talking point that they didn't start a single war.
Why are you just pretending you care about the deaths of civilians?
What?
He doesn't. He doesn't care about the deaths of civilians. Absolutely not. They literally got a immigrant radical Muslim as part of the Australian government, and he's talking about how October 7th terrorist attack was justified as an act of resistance. Well, in that case, it was justified that 60,000+ Gazans were killed because that's just what happens when you start a war and lose. Well, thank you, sir. Very cool. But Piers Morgan had this guy on his show. Are you that surprised when this is a government official in Australia and he views the most obvious terrorist attack of all time as an act of resistance? No shit that there's going to be something happening in Australia. Like, what are we talking about? So Piers Morgan says, terrorist attack in Bondi Beach is absolutely horrific. It seems 2 male shooters dressed in black fired with Islamic radical Muslim shooters dressed in black fired shotguns at hundreds of Jewish people celebrating Hanukkah and the terrible images, many victims of all ages. Dude, it's pretty awesome that Piers Morgan will literally invite this guy and be completely shocked that there's some sort of terrorist attack in Australia. Really? Christian does something wrong. Christianity is evil. Hindu does something wrong. Hinduism is evil. Muslim does something wrong. He's just a misunderstood human being. every single time, obviously. That's where we're at. Yeah, no, we know. We welcome to the left. Welcome to the left, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a beautiful place. It's so nice. So let's look at what the Australian evolution. Beautiful place.
I want to take a look at this here really quick. Australia is done. First they banned bows, then machetes and swords, now they're coming for guns. This isn't random, it's sequential. This government doesn't have the guts for mass deportations, so instead they choose harsher laws, more surveillance, more control. Thank God we live in America. Thank you, God, we have the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the First and Second Amendment. We need to maintain this. We cannot allow anyone to gain or maintain power in this country that wants to go against the inalienable rights that our forefathers gave us when they created this country. And I want to say, it's definitely not going to be mentioned in this video, but Kamala Harris did in fact say before she, while she was campaigning for president, that she wanted to stop people from speaking freely on the internet, spreading misinformation, blah blah blah. And the thing is, when you're a government official or the president of the United States, what is misinformation? Whatever the hell you say it is. And so, given that kind of power, she would have made sure that the X would have been stopped from being a free speech platform. She would have made sure that people like me couldn't do what I'm doing right now. So I'm very very glad that Trump won. I'm very very glad that Trump dodged a bullet and didn't get assassinated twice. Anyway, moving on.
Place. It's so nice. So let's look at what the Australian evolution of Australian politics was about.
Australia is done. First they banned the bows, then they banned machetes and swords. Now they're coming for guns. This isn't random, it's sequential. Because once digital
Tyranny.
ID is fully embedded, once surveillance is total, once Australians are...
Dude, we in America have no idea how lucky we have it. That we're not in one of these shithole lib-cuck countries.
Politically and culturally disarmed, there is no resistance, only compliance. This is the emasculation of a nation in real time. Australia is being marched toward technocratic control, where the state tracks, restricts, and ultimately dominates every aspect of your life.
And if you say something they don't like, they'll arrest you for hate speech.
Not through tanks in the streets, but through databases, permissions,
This is why the Second Amendment is so pivotal and so crucial.
Yes.
It is to protect against a tyrannical government.
Yes.
Safety laws. Say goodbye to the Australia you knew. Because when every safeguard is gone, the government can do whatever it wants, and citizens have no leverage, no protection, no recourse. This is exactly why the United States enshrined the Second Amendment, not for chaos, not for crime, but as a final check against state overreach. What's happening here isn't progress, it's submission, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. Australia.
Here we are, on a beach with 2,000 people. Not a single one of them had a weapon.
Wake up.
So you import all these Muslims, they attack, they do as they please, because they're not going to follow your freaking gun laws. They kill whoever they want. They outbreed the native population, and essentially once they have a majority, the indigenous people, they have a choice. They either convert or they die. Conquest, not peace. Islam is not religion of peace. Islamophobia is not irrational fear.
Up. This isn't some sort of race war. The Australian government doesn't have the guts to deport people.
Yep. You're just dead. You're just done. Good luck, guys. What do you want me to say? Good luck, people in Australia and Canada and England and France. Good luck. Like, you are literally doing a very nice slow suicide. And then, of course, you have people with an Australian over here. All right, Australian. Of course, there's pronouns in bio. Obviously, that's how you know it's real. You know, I know it's a meme. You watch who becomes the victims in all this. Just you watch. Oh, those Jews. Oh, those Jews being victims. Oh, those Jews being victims when Jews are killed. No, but I think what actually is being referred to is, what terrifies me is if ISIS were to detonate a nuclear device and kill 50 million Americans, imagine the backlash against peaceful Muslims. Dude, this tweet has reigned supreme. It's crazy. And you can expect it. You can expect all the calls to, there's too much Islamophobia in Australia right now. We really need to calm down. So, Keir Starmer, retard Prime Minister of England, says, as Jewish communities come together to celebrate Hanukkah, I send my warmest wishes to the families across the UK and around the world. May the Festival of Lights bring hope, peace, and comfort. Hanukkah Sameach. Are we fucking insane? He posted this tweet an hour after a terrorist attack killing Jews on Hanukkah.
And I don't know if he's going to mention this here or not, but apparently Jews are trying to get out of UK right now and go back to and go to Israel because they know they're not safe in the UK anymore. They know they can't trust this twat Keir Starmer here to keep them safe. The communities, the Jewish communities in the UK are in danger because they're importing all these Muslims and they want to be safe. They want to leave, and God help them. Hopefully they make it to not back to. I don't know if they're like people. I don't know if the Jews that live there in the UK were born there, and so me saying go back to Israel. I don't know if they were in Israel before, but it's their only safe haven left.
Are you actually brain dead? What are we doing? Piers Morgan even called him out on this, and he's like, how can this staggeringly tone-deaf post still be up? Does nobody at Downing Street work on Sundays? No, but that's crazy. Now, that's not the only terrorist attack against Jews specifically. Jews were shot in their own home in California as well. Gunmen opened fire on the Jewish family while screaming anti-Semitic slurs, including, Free Palestine and Allahu Akbar and F the Jews, right? Free Palestine, N-word, F the Jews, nice, good stuff, just basically. There it is. Just drives past a Jewish house and shoots into the house.
Fun.
In California.
In California, yeah.
So, I mean...
How shocking.
Thank God, from what I understand, no one was hurt. But that's crazy. That's insane. That's just absolutely crazy. I could guess who it was. Not gonna jump to conclusions, obviously. So this is Piers Morgan freaking out. Don't worry, Piers. Just turn the news off. Tuck in your little curry. Don't worry, Piers. Just keep importing these people.
Yeah, just keep enjoying the food, you retard.
That's right. Just keep importing them. Everything will be fine. Just keep importing more retards. It'll be good. The food tastes better. It absolutely will not be detrimental to the culture. Nope, absolutely not. Definitely not. Here's a Palestinian doctor from Gaza saying that men have the right and must beat their wives.
هو ضرب يقصد به تنبيه المرأة إلى أن حياة الأسرة في خطر. تنبيه المرأة على.
Have you heard the belief and the idea that all cultures are created equal? I don't know about you, but I think beating your wife for any reason is uncalled for.
أن علاقاتنا الزوجية مهددة فانتبهي حتى لا.
Right, because she might destroy the family. So to stop her from destroying the family, all you have to do, you just have to beat her. Nice.
تتأثر ولا يتأثر مستقبلنا. ثم بعد ذلك.
The beating is symbolic, actually.
ضرب رمزي. وإذا كان ضرب حقيقي له شروط ومواصفات
This is beautiful.
بدءا من المقصود ليس الانتقام.
No, of course not. The beating is not. Of course. The purpose of beating is not revenge. Obviously, of course, it's to cure the family from the disease of the woman thinking that she has the right to an opinion. Man, I'm really glad we're importing these people. They really seem to be the nexus of morality. Here's a story about how Hamas was hoarding baby milk to manufacture a hunger crisis in Gaza. Footage reports show boxes of formula strewn about in a warehouse in a plot to help diplomatic pressure on Israel, expert says. So essentially what they were doing is they were starving their own people and their own babies in order to manufacture some sort of starvation crisis. The babies are starving in order to basically use that as propaganda in a war. And you know what? It worked. It absolutely worked. All the freaks on the streets protesting the starvation in Gaza that never happened.
All around the world. Not just here in America. Places like New York, which is... stay safe, family. Places like New York, places like California, in the UK, in Australia. Palestine has a right to exist. It's a genocide against Palestine. Their own democratically elected government was killing them, hiding behind their own people, like in hospitals and schools, and then complaining, saying, "Oh, I can't believe Israel attacked a hospital or a school." Why are you having your military force hiding behind or hiding in those places? That's your fault. But no. Let's do everything in our power to make it look like that Israel's the bad guys when we're cartoonishly evil.
Well, those guys are they're helpful. Thanks, guys. Thanks, useful idiots. We should import all these people. They're just victims of horrible Israeli tyranny when they lose a war that they started. And no, we immediately need to import all of them. Well, here's breaking news that just came out yesterday, and it's heartbreaking. A Gaza doctor, right? This isn't a terrorist. This isn't a Hamas. This is a doctor, all right? I mean, let's be real. I'm trying to think of the religion of the doctor. It was not a Jewish doctor. All right, don't ask Kanye West. It was not a Jewish doctor. It was a Gaza doctor in Gaza, murdered an Israeli hostage by injecting air into her veins, and then sent a video of her dying and begging to her life to her father. This is a true story. By the way, this isn't just reported in this one article from the Daily Mail. This reported everywhere. The father was on the news crying and all that. But yeah, anyway, nexus of morality. And those doctors, those are the doctors, for the record, that are saying that Israelis are targeting children. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane to watch the two sides of this war as time goes on, and as more and more information is released after the war is kind of basically at a halt. And to kind of see the fact that there really is no moral equivalence here. There really is no moral equivalence.
Like, the delineation between good and evil, the good and evil sides of this conflict is plain as day. It's clear to anyone with their brain still inside their head to see.
They have produced numbers that there's a 1-to-2 ratio. According to Hamas, 20,000 of the 60,000 dead are Hamas terrorists. And the other 40,000 are, they claim, civilians. Who knows if it's true? Which is, you know, very normal, unfortunately, because war is brutal. Normal collateral damage in a conflict, especially when the terrorists use human shields and fire missiles from hospitals. But the reality is, they use this as a gigantic ploy to convince the world that they are the gigantic victims in everything, losing a war that they started, to basically import them everywhere, and now they're everywhere. So Konstantin Kirsan released this video basically 10 minutes before the breaking news of the shooting. So he released this video, and then he's like, we scheduled this episode a long time ago. Sadly, the timing couldn't be more tragically apt.
It's not Islam, it's Islam, and it's not Muslim, it's Muslim. And the two words are connected. And what that means is submit or surrender. You know, how did it go from this guy who was just sitting in a cave? They've conquered most of what was the old Roman world. 66%, let's say, of the original Christian world.
Where are these Islamic radicals?
Where are they?
Yeah.
Everywhere. The UK's problems, man, they're just kind of mind-boggling. Your Islam problem is less about Muslims, and it's more about the people who are enabling and empowering them and bringing them in against your will. I mean, I see in the UK radical Muslims screaming, you know, like actual Islamic jihadist stuff, and they don't get in trouble. But then when a British person fights back, they get arrested.
Do you think the religion of Islam is compatible with the West?
Yeah, well, anyway, I didn't watch their full interview. This literally just came out right now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But the reality is, it's important to note that Canada is taking steps in the right direction, thank God. Canada to criminalize biblical passages with new hate speech law. That's right. You know where it says in the Bible that sodomy is forbidden, or a man shouldn't lie with another man? Well, I'm sure that Bible verse is going to be getting banned very soon because, unfortunately, the Bible's not inclusive enough. So they're importing Muslims with the Quran that they're not censoring. And the Quran, for the record, is diabolical, if any of you have ever read it. It's literally constant, you know, slaughter the kafaras at the neck, you know. It's full, and it's just actually, like, here's the funny thing. The funny thing is, the actual text is diabolical. Like, you actually read, like, random chapters of it, and you'll lose your mind. You know. But they're censoring Bible passages. This is Western civilization, ladies and gentlemen. This is Western civilization. So on Sky News, they interviewed one of the officers that took down one of the shooters.
We're going to go back to Shari Markson. She is with someone at the scene. I'm not sure if this is a witness, Shari, but what can you tell us?
Yes, Caroline. This is Vlad from the State Emergency Services and Ilona. They were both there when the shooting happened. As you can see, Vlad has got fresh blood all over his... Oh, you don't want your face on camera?
No, his hand is covered in blood.
See it in my hands.
Oh, your hands. He's showing you his hands because they're covered in blood. Vlad,
God.
what happened when the shooting started?
So I was with my son, 8 years old. I pushed him to the ground and I fell on top of him. And then there's another security guard from, what's the called security company? GSA. GSA was hit in the shoulder and fell on top of me. The shooting was going on 5 minutes non-stop.
How many gunshots do you think?
5 minutes non-stop. Let's ban guns, guys. This'll save everyone. Everyone will get saved if we ban guns. You know, if you ban guns, that just means that the bad guys are the only ones that are gonna have the guns. But it's absolutely asinine. Holy shit! Armed population is absolutely the way to go. It's crazy. And, you know, they banned bow and arrows because apparently that was too dangerous in Australia. They banned knives. Like, bro, like, what the fuck? They're not going to kill you with knives or guns. If with guns, they'll kill you with something else. And here they even killed you with guns, so there's nothing you can do. 5 minutes. 5 minutes of shooting. That's crazy. That's crazy. The dude wouldn't have lasted 30 seconds in America or Israel. It would not have lasted 30 seconds.
Think were fired in that fight?
Probably 50, 60 gunshots. It was non-stop.
60 gunshots with a rifle. Do we understand?
So they reloaded quite a lot in that time, and it obviously took a long time for someone to intervene. So that's I don't have the words right now for the incompetency of law enforcement. I guess I do, but yeah, that's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
And what we're doing here, we are killing ourselves in the West. And that's why, thank God, Trump won. Thank God Trump won. Oh my God, people complain Trump's not doing enough. They're right, Trump's not doing enough. But Trump is doing a metric fuck ton better than whatever would have been on the other side. We would have been Australia right now. This is insane.
And the whole time you were lying on top of your 8-year-old son.
And then I was trying to give the first aid to the guy because he was bleeding profusely, so...
Which guy? A guy next to you?
The security guard that was shot, yes. And then once the shooting stopped, I went out, tried to help people. I was just covering bodies because there was people dead.
Oh my God.
Everywhere. Young, old, rabbi, they're all dead.
What a nightmare.
And then 2 people died while we're trying to save them because ambulance didn't arrive on time, and then, of course, everyone came.
Oh my God, dude. Australia speed running, becoming the 110th country that Jews leave. Wow, that's insane.
How many people do you think? Just dozens were shot, both injured and killed?
Dozens killed.
Oh my God.
And more than dozens injured. It must have been high caliber bullets because the people's brain was all over the place, exploded. So.
What a nightmare.
And the people you tried to save, who did you work on after the security officer? Who did you work on?
So I had a lady who had a shot in the leg, was bleeding profusely. We put 2 tourniquets on her, trying to stop bleeding. An elderly lady, and then I saw her. She died afterwards because.
So she died. I was gonna say, depending on where you're shot in the leg, that's a fatal wound. Your thigh area, like closer to your groin. That's basically fatal because there's a, how do I say? I'm not familiar with. I'm not as like I'm no doctor, right? But somewhere around that area is like is where you bleed the most from. You lose a lot of blood if you're hit in that area. Yeah, it's a tragedy for sure.
The lady passed away.
The lady does, and then there was another.
Dude's a legend.
The guy, he was hit in the head, but he was still alive, and yeah, I couldn't help him. He died.
You couldn't help him. He was shot in the head. And how old was he? Do you think?
He was an older gentleman. It's not just people; it's people that I know.
People from our community. People from our community. People that we know well. People that we see often.
Dead.
Your rabbi is dead.
5 kids behind. Dead. Young. Not even, he's 40 years old.
And so you were there as well? You were there as well?
I was there as well with my mother, with my son. And it just started. I couldn't believe it. Just shocked.
People think like it's so wild to me when I see people screaming about how Israel shouldn't defend itself. It's like, it's insane. Look, I am very standard. My politics are pretty similar across the board. I think America should look out for Americans, and Israel should look out for Israelis. Every country should look out for their own, absolutely, and put their own country first, without a shadow of a doubt. And if you think that it's not proportional, then don't start a fucking war. All right, then don't become part of a death cult and start a war. And that's the craziest part. And Australia will never get it, because the leftoid mind is trained to abort your own children, castrate children, not get married. Don't actually use your empathy for your family. Use your empathy for retards across the world that literally want to kill you. And
and this is part of the intentional mismanagement that I was talking about. Feminism has truly ruined the minds of a great many women in the West. Um, to make you think, oh, I'm a boss babe. I can have it all. I can have my career. I can have a husband. I can have all this. And the fact of the matter is, no, you can't. You just can't. If you're focused on your career, going from your early 20s into your 30s, guess what happens when you're in your 30s? You hit the wall. You become less attractive to men. You are less likely to have to have a healthy child. And so you put it off, you put it off, you put it off because you're not quite financially stable yet, or in a position where you can have a kid, based on what you believe is financially a good time to have a kid, and then by the time you are actually able to have a kid, financially speaking, it's too late, physically speaking. And but of course, because you spend so much time focused on your career as a woman, guess what, guys? Men don't care about how like what life you build for yourself. Men want to build their lives for themselves to then invite you in so that he can take care of you. And you know, biologically speaking, it screws up the society also because women are hypergamous. What does hypergamous mean? It means that they go for men who are above them in status and wealth and power. And if women have all this education, quote unquote, and all this knowledge and all this ability to earn their own income, are they going to look for men who earn less than them? No, they're not. No, they're not. So then, because they outnumber men in colleges, they outnumber men in ability to earn money. So are we going in the right direction? If not only does feminism have that hold on women, but also the belief that we need to trans kids are real kids, and that we need to allow them to go through hormone replacement therapy and castrate them and take on the other gender's identity because that's how they feel like or what have you, like like effectively ruining society in the West just so that what, so that we can replace it with this Islamic terror. No, I don't think this is a good idea. I think we should stop. So yeah, there's a great many changes that need to occur in our society in order for us to be pushed back into the right direction. And I do think that Trump is in fact going like pushing us in the right direction. But like yes, like Nuxanor here said, he's not quite doing enough. But like he said, also he's a damn sight better than Kamala Harris would have been by a long shot. Oh my God, night and day. Thank you God that he's currently in power and not Kamala Harris. Which, by the way, Tim Walz would have been her VP. The guy's now being, it's now come out that he's taken part in the Somali fraud scheme that's happening in Minneapolis. Imagine if he would have been VP. Imagine he would have been VP. The amount of fraud that would have happened nationwide because this guy who's governor of Minneapolis, allowing that to happen, what kind of pillaging would have happened to the entirety of the country with that guy as VP? Thank you God, they did not win.
And that's what's happening. And the radical left European countries, the parts of Western civilization that are super Eurocucked, that are liberal, that are feminist, they are literally importing their own demise. And I don't think they realize how bad it is or how bad it's going to be in 20 years. Because if 10% is Muslims now, then in one generation, 40% is going to be Muslims. Because the average white couple...
Sorry, Minnesota, not Minneapolis.
They're having one kid. The average Muslim couple is having 7 kids. So, give it one generation, 40% is going to be Muslim.
I had to back it up because this is important.
Because if 10% is Muslims now, then in one generation, 40% is going to be Muslims. Because the average white couple, they're having one kid. The average Muslim couple is having 7 kids. So, give it a generation. 2 generations, you'll be a minority.
And again, they inbreed. If they can't find someone outside of their religion to breed with, they will just simply breed with family and have their kids and outbreed us.
But that's what we're looking at. And you have to be...
And I'm not making the comparison. I am. I'm just going to say it. There's a species of rodent that also does this. You know what they are? Rats.
Generations, you'll be a minority. But that's what we're looking at. And you have to be blind or retarded to not see it.
It started to started to hear shots and people were just flying in the air in front of me. I couldn't believe it.
Bodies flying in the air.
I don't know if they were bodying.
So they were
It
just
was,
jerking.
Yeah, I thought it was I couldn't believe it.
Crazy. I mean, look, I've been in Israel during terrorist attacks. I have multiple times, actually. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And Australia is just not equipped to deal with this stuff. Honestly, no one in Europe is equipped to deal with this stuff. No one in Europe, in these hyper-cucked countries, have absolutely no idea what they're doing. They, like, bro, unless they do another crusade, they're fucked. It's insane.
No.
I heard there was smoke. No?
No.
No, I didn't see any smoke. No.
There's no grenades. It was just powerful rifles.
And so you are a member of the Jewish community, but you're a member of the Jewish community, but you were there in your role as well for the state emergency services.
So I'm a chaplain, a Jewish chaplain for state emergency services. I come here every year to just celebrate with my community, and today I actually was consoling people that lost their...
It's so wild. Russian immigrants are based every single time. It's so wild to see which cultures, when people immigrate, they actually try to assimilate. The Russian immigrants, I know a bunch of Russians, mostly Jews, just because I guess that's closer to my circles, and they're the nicest people ever. They love immigrating to a more Western civilization, and they do, and they integrate, and they assimilate into the culture. They're just good, hard-working people every single time. But the same cannot be said when you're importing freaks from the third world that literally have religious doctrine to kill you.
Loved ones, right there and then. I mean, there's a woman crying next to her husband because his head was completely exploded. I mean, how am I gonna consult her? What am I gonna tell her? But I tell you one thing. I got these candles there, and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna light them up, because we must light up and keep the show going. We're not afraid.
Based. Completely based.
Yeah, very based.
The fight's not over, man. The fight's never over. Dude, what an absolute nightmare. What an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it's absolutely devastating. Thank you so much, Vlad, for your incredible community service.
This Vlad guy, he's a legend. This guy's a legend. But yeah, no, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at an actual dismantling and destruction of the West. It's actually crazy. And this is a story that happened in Australia a few months ago. When I saw this clip, I lost my mind. This is just a 2-minute clip, but this will show you everything you need to see about Australians' immigration policies. Get ready for this. It's gonna blow you away. So this is a Jewish influencer that called in like one of those like cam chats, like one of those random sites where you chat with random people. And this is him talking to 2 Australian nurses.
You know what? Oh shit.
How are you, man?
Good. How are you, my man?
Pretty good. Are you a nurse? A doctor?
I'm a doctor, my man.
A doctor? For what?
In hospital. What about you? Where you from?
I'm from Israel, from the Holy Land.
You know what? I'm gonna be really honest with you.
All right.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. You actually got a really, really beautiful eyes.
Thank you, man.
But I'm so upset that you're Israeli. Like, eventually you're gonna get killed and you're gonna go to Jahannam, inshallah.
Right, Jahannam is hell.
Like, this pretty eyes.
In Arabic.
They should stay in this world for longer.
Why do you think? Why do you think I'm gonna get killed?
Because inshallah one day God will.
Maybe because I served in the IDF. That's why.
That's definitely the answer. Correct.
That's the reason, because I served in the IDF. What's the problem with that? What's the?
By the way, it's mandated for every citizen to be serving the IDF because, unfortunately, Israel is surrounded by Muslim countries who hate them. So every single citizen, including women, have to serve in the IDF. So when people chant death to the IDF, they're literally saying every single Israeli must die.
Issue with that?
You killed innocent people. That's
killed?
why.
I was protecting my country.
So you kill innocent people to protect your country. What kind of soul do you have? You have no soul.
In a war, people die, as you know.
No.
They started the war.
Not 1200.
Who started?
57.
It's okay. Your time will come.
Who started? Who started this war?
I hope you guys.
Who elected Hamas? Who elected Hamas?
It's Palestine.
Dude is literally literally saying, I elected the terrorists that are murdering and raping your people. I am, and how dare you fight back? We are the victims in the war that we started. These are two Australian doctors talking about how excited he is for this person to die.
Country, not your country, you piece
how are
of
you?
shit.
What's your name?
No, none of you.
We're talking politely here. We're talking politely here.
One day, your time will come and you will die the most horrible
You
death.
spread hate, we spread positivity, we spread protection, we spread peace.
Listen to me.
And you spread
when your time comes.
How are you doctors? Wait.
I want you to remember.
Right, Hippocratic oath, am I right?
I was about to say that, like, they're obviously not following the Hippocratic oath.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
I have
you die a painful death. All right.
Question though.
Death.
All right, for sure. I have a question though. I have a question. Let's say an Israeli. God forbid.
I won't treat them. I'll kill them.
You'll kill them?
Nurses in Australia, all right? These are the doctors and engineers that immigrated to Australia, okay?
So yeah, like I said, not following the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. Yeah, I have no words right now. I have no words.
The doctors and engineers that immigrated to Australia.
So if an Israeli is in Australia and God forbid something happened to him, and he comes to your hospital, would you kill him?
Okay, you have no idea how many Israeli Khara dog came to this hospital, and I sent them to Jahannam.
I sent them to Jahannam, which is hell in Arabic.
I literally sent them to Jahannam.
For real? So if just Jewish people comes there?
And they shut it off. And anyway, they got fired, and then they got rehired. Rehired, guys. They got fired because, well, you can't have doctors saying that they're murdering Jews that come to the hospital. That's pretty bad. But they got rehired after that. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Thank you, Australia. Very cool. You guys have been so based and awesome. Thank you for your immigration policies being so good. Hell yeah, dude. This is what happens. This is what happens when you import infinite fucks. This is what happens when radical Islamists are literally imported to our shores. Don't be surprised when this keeps happening. This is in the same day that shots were fired at Jews in America and California. The same day of a planned terrorist attack in Germany. Do not be surprised. But no, I'm the racist. I'm the Islamophobe when I say that radical Islamists are coming to America to destroy us and coming to the West to destroy the West. When they say it themselves, and then they do this. And no, it's not every Muslim, but Hamas issued a statement thanking the two Islamic terrorists for murdering the people on the beach in Australia. Hamas released a statement to the Al Jazeera Qatari news network saying, "Thank you so much for your bravery in our collective fight against Western civilization." Specifically in regard to this terror attack. This terror attack that, by the way, the Prime Minister of Australia still refuses to call a terror attack. It was just an unfortunate, stressful incident. Well, the story of Hanukkah is absolutely incredible and apropos for today's video, so I'll just share it in short. The story of Hanukkah is there was a time when the Greeks were attacking Jews and the Greeks were massacring Jews and were definitely overwhelmingly way stronger than the Jewish forces. But due to guerrilla warfare and potential miracles, the Jews managed to survive that battle, thank God, and the Jews ended up finding a little jug of oil. That little jug of oil had enough oil in it to last for one day. And the miracle of Hanukkah, as the story goes, is that that little jug of oil lasted for 8 days, not only one day, which is why Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 days. Bringing light into the world is what every single person watching this video needs to focus on actually doing. And the reality is, I try, despite the fact that I'm slandered and blasted throughout the internet and all the death threats and stuff, I try to bring a light to the world. I try to preach, the word of God and biblical values as much as I can. And in a post-Charlie Kirk world, I feel like every single one of us needs to do our best to be that light in the darkness. Surrounded by fog and surrounded by lies, dog, you are the only person that can control your own life. You have to be the beacon of light in the world. And the honest truth is, if you fight for God, your light won't be extinguished. So, despite the nightmare situation, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, God is good.
So yeah, that's the video. I definitely don't want to focus on this kind of stuff all the time. There's definitely room for more lighthearted things, and I definitely will cover like topics that just aren't anywhere near as serious, frankly. But like I say, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of, again, intentional mismanagement. I feel it's very important to shine a light on what's going on. Anyway, thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, and follow me on these platforms. And remember to think critically.